3 of Chocolate Week, we aren't slowing down, and our waistlines haven't stopped growing.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Joining us to show you a delicious dinner, chocolate dinner recipe is Chef Dan Whalen. He's the author of Stuffed. He's also from thefoodinmybeard.com. Now, Dan, this is a chocolate dinner from the meal to dessert.
Exactly. We
I
got
don't need this anymore.
short rib and chocolate risotto, and then for dessert we have a Mexican chocolate pot de creme, which is basically like a fancy way of saying pudding.
It's a fancy way to say pudding.
It's Valentine's Day, it's fancy.
Yeah,
So
creme.
I
How
have
do you
the
start?
risotto going already. So I just have some onions and the dry rice in the pot.
No, that's the arboreto rice. Arboro?
Arborio, yeah.
Arborio.
Yeah.
I knew I'd get it eventually.
And I just like to sort of coat all the rice grains with oil before we really start getting it going. So that's what I have going on here, and then I have some warm stock.
What kind of stock is that? Beef stock looks
Well,
Or is
the
it
cool thing
chocolate
about
stock?
this recipe is you make the short ribs the night before with a lot of vegetables in the pot and the meat, and then just water, and then you have this nice stock ready to go to make the risotto.
So you
with.
want to save all the
You
juices,
save the juices,
and everything.
and
Okay.
then, yeah.
And
so
then-
I'm just going to ladle a bit of the stock in to get the rice started. And you don't have to pay too much attention to risotto like a lot of people think. You just stir it every 5 minutes or so. It's not like you have to stand here for 20 minutes stirring.
It doesn't take 2 minutes to make, but it's not. It may take a little bit of time, but it's not difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's one of those things that you're in the kitchen for. So maybe grab
You're
a
in the
good
kitchen
book
already,
or-
so yeah.
Grab a good book. No, you know what this is? This is a perfect. If just out there, if you've started dating someone, invite them over for Valentine's Day and make this with them, so that you're forced to talk to each other in between stirs.
Or
get
you
to
can
know
do
each other.
push-ups on your counter.
That's not
that's
the most sexy Valentine's Day thing to do, though. Unless you have some sort of weird, different relationship I don't even know about.
Push-ups on the counter. Here we go. All
The
right.
cauliflower here is a sort of a garnish for the risotto. So we're gonna just give it a quick little toss in some butter, which I've already put on there, some chili powder,
Yeah.
and some cocoa powder.
Really?
Cocoa powder, and just toss
Actually,
this all together.
you know what's funny? Both of these recipes have a lot of very similar ingredients because chocolate goes good with chili, it goes good with
But what do you think it is about the
With
chocolate
butter.
that goes well with, non-chocolate traditional foods?
well, it doesn't have to be sweet. You get this dark chocolate, and
that's
it's
true.
not overly sweet, so you can mix it, traditionally with Mexican food. So you
Chocolate
just throw
goes
that
good
in
with
a very hot
everything.
oven for a little bit of time. And
Oh,
There we go.
Mr. Fancy Pants over
a
here,
whole lot
getting
easier.
cauliflower florets all over the place. That goes in the oven, Seth.
Oh, okay.
You want to
I'll
toss
throw
it
in the
in?
oven. Absolutely.
I'm going to put my glasses back on, too. All
so
right, Dan.
the dessert is actually really easy as well.
Oh, really?
yeah.
A Mexican chocolate pot de creme sounds
Yep.
so fancy.
So
and
I have some cream here, and we don't need to fully melt the chocolate, but I just throw the bowl on there so it starts melting.
That's a great idea.
In the chocolate, I put a little bit more chili powder as well. I have a couple egg yolks with sugar. Whisked.
Just the yolks.
Just the yolks, yep.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna whisk in some of this hot milk here.
now the chocolate and the chili powder, that has a little bit of a kick when you mix it. Well, obviously with the
Yeah, we'll taste it soon, and you'll see.
We'll taste it soon.
Yeah, you'll see. It's not overly. And then I'm just gonna mix the hot milk in there with the chocolate. It's all melted and ready to go.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll taste it. It's not too hot, but it just gives you that little bit
Do I
on
have
the
to
back
keep
of your
mixing
tongue.
this?
No, it's good. It's already melted. It's ready
Really?
to go. So
That's
I'm gonna
it?
just ladle this mixture into these cups here, and you just throw them in the oven for a half hour and let them cool.
Wow. Did we already add that to it?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was the milk.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
here's my question. Let's go back to the risotto for a second, because it's probably almost time to do a little stirring. How do we get the short ribs, though? Do you do it in your slow cooker?
You can do it in a slow cooker. You can put them in a pot like this in the oven.
And this is faster if you do it in the oven, but if you put it in the slow cooker, it's like a set it, forget it kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. It's all very easy, and then see the color on this stock. It's like such a nice, rich.
And it
stock.
it goes with the whole recipe.
Yeah, it has a little chili peppers in it, but mostly just onion, garlic, the usual stuff that you find in stock.
How do you know when enough is enough when it comes to pouring in the stock?
It's a sort of a practice thing, but I just taste it.
So when it's
When it's tender,
al dente, when
yeah,
it's the way
exactly.
you like it, then you just go.
And you don't want to, when you're done with the risotto, you don't want it to sort of stand up. You want to put it in a bowl, and it should just kind of melt down.
Melt
yeah,
out?
Yeah.
Sounds good to
So
me.
some people, if they sort of overcook the risotto, then it, or don't use enough liquid, it sort of like a clump.
Yeah, sticky and clumpy.
Yeah.
That's not the way it should be.
No, exactly.
Okay. All right, so we've got, let's see, a lot
pop
going
those
on
bad
here.
boys
Yeah,
in the
those
oven.
just go in the oven.
Let's talk about how you got the short ribs to this stage. What did you
Well,
do?
that's what me and Seth were just talking about.
You
You can do it in a slow cooker. You can just let it sit in the oven in this.
Someone just wasn't paying attention.
Rose-colored glasses are really distracting
Shall we
me from
remove them? Because I
everything.
think that's. And the other thing is the pot de creme. We're going to put that in the oven, and we're going to. There's some water in the bottom of that pan. Why is that?
That just creates like a nice wet environment in the oven for the pudding to gently bake.
Are you going to need to put more water in there as you go because the water will evaporate?
No, it's only a half hour. It doesn't evaporate. Just cover it.
All right. You know, I'm going to pop these in.
Okay.
We'll let you keep cooking down the risotto, and hopefully by the end of the show, everything will be good to taste, right?
Thanks, Dan. I can't wait to try this pot de creme. All right. Here we go. We'll be back with you in a bit.
Welcome back to Mass Appeal.
Chocolate Week continues. We're back with Dan Whalen, the author of Stuff, the Ultimate Comfort Food Cookbook. Did I say that right, Dan?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so we finished up this short rib chocolate
just finished,
risotto.
ready for you guys here?
So let's see if I remember what happened. So the other night, you made short ribs.
Yes.
You saved the juices.
Save the juices and the shredded meat.
Okay, you put them both separate. Then you started the rice, and you added the stock.
Yep, slowly, ladle by ladle while you stir.
Every about 5 minutes, so you don't have to stay over the whole time stirring.
yeah.
Every 5 minutes or so. And then you added the meat.
Then, yeah, right when you taste the rice and you just can tell it's like pretty tender, it's just about done, that's when you stir in the meat, stir in the chocolate, stir in some Parmesan cheese.
Ooh, wait a minute, I missed that part. You stir in chocolate? How much
stir in the
dark chocolate?
About an ounce of dark chocolate.
Yes.
Wow.
So then we have these cauliflower that we roasted off earlier, and you just kind of like make a little pretty sort of flour on top.
Love it. A little
And
floret on
you can
top.
serve it.
You want to dig in? You want to try a bite, Ashley?
That looks beautiful.
Here we go.
I'm so anxious to see what this tastes like. Good?
That's good.
Were you just surprised about it?
No, I just didn't think. I didn't like. You know, normally when you're trying food, you can picture it. I couldn't picture this.
But it's nice and
It's
a
sweet,
romantic
it's savory.
dinner. It's sort of like labored over. It's very dark, deep flavors.
I'm feeling the love right now.
And you have the chocolate, you have a little bit of spice, and we also have all those things in the pudding cup here.
chocolate pudding cup, which is the layman's term. If you want to be fancy on Valentine's Day, you say pot de creme, right?
Pot de creme.
yeah.
Pot de creme.
So when these come out, you know, we put them in the oven earlier. They sit in the fridge for a bit, and they have this sort of like bubbled off topping on the top. So you don't want that as the presentation. So that's why I quickly made this whipped cream, usual stuff, just some sugar and whipped cream, and that's it.
Amazing stuff.
I'm not listening. I'm halfway through.
And you just throw that on top, and that way you don't have to look at the weird sort of bubbly look.
Unless that's what you're going for, is a weird bubbly look.
A little
Is
bit
it
of
spicy?
cinnamon, and there you
It's
go.
got a little kick to it. This is amazing.
Wow.
And you can see on the inside, it's not that bubbly. It's so creamy and chocolatey.
Oh, thank you. This is amazing. Okay, so now you shared this chocolate short rib risotto recipe and the Mexican chocolate pot de creme, but there's also a chocolate macaroni and cheese recipe that's exclusively on our website. Tell us about that.
I actually didn't come up with this idea. I had it at a restaurant in Boston, and it's not, you know, this like the risotto where the chocolate's just deep all in it. It's actually just a regular mac and cheese. It's sort of Mexican tinged. It has some chilies. And then you just sprinkle a very dark Mexican chocolate on top of it when you're
Love
done.
it. Dan, I appreciate it. Once again, that recipe's on our website. And the recipe for all of this, I finished this. And there's more Mass Appeal coming up right after this.
So sweet.